Welcome to the Junior High Humanities Podcast, where our students dive deep into the heart of what it means to be fully human.
Every episode is a student-driven journey featuring their unique insights, reflections, and discoveries from their humanities assignments.
Stay tuned to the Junior High Humanities Podcast for a captivating exploration of humanity, faith, and learning.
Hey, I'm Brody. And I'm Andreas, who will be playing John Aaron, a key role in the Cooper vs. Aaron court case. We are broadcasting on the CBCS network for Mr. Spencer's U.S. history class. I'll ask Andreas questions as a news reporter, and he will answer John Aaron from the case himself. First question, what up to you in your court case against William Cooper and Little Rock School Board? Well, that's a good question. I just knew there needed to be change and that it was time for everybody to be treated equal. With that being said, me and a black student decided to file a court case against William Cooper and the board to try and make a change around here. Wowzers. What a moving reason to try and make a change. Well, yeah, that will kind of go into our next question is, how did the court go? Was the school board violated any laws? Was the judge on your side? Things like that. Let's get with some more details on how it went. Well, yeah, actually, the school board was violating the 14th Amendment, which basically guaranteed protection under the laws for all born people, no matter their race or status, even if they were slaves. Due to this, the judge was on our side because you can't have anyone, especially schools where there's kids being influenced, disobeying such an important amendment like this. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So after you won the court case, what impact did it have not only on this community, but also this country? I think this case impacted the whole country and the community a lot because after this, the governor and legislature of Arkansas were bound by federal court to mandate desegregation. And then this caused the court to they didn't give direct answers on how to do this, but they did force them to start desegregation. So it had to be done swiftly. It wasn't done immediately due to these problems because they didn't give an exact answer, but things were moving in the right direction. So with that being said, that's how the Little Rock Nine came to be such a famous group of kids. Speaking about the Little Rock Nine, let's hear a little bit of a background about who these kids were and what they did. Okay, so pretty much they were a group of 9 African-American students enrolled in Little Rock Central High School in 1957. And what they did was pretty much they were ordinary teenagers, but they were the first black Americans to be able to go in white schools. And that's how the media coined them, was the Little Rock Nine. And they were the first ones to stop the desegregation. And this caused a lot of drama. Several people were unhappy. They had to have police around the Little Rock Nine to protect them because people were threatening them. Kind of like Ruby Bridges, who's also the first black child to integrate in an all-white elementary school in the South. This was kind of a common change in the South, was people were starting to move away from segregation and started treating everybody equal. And this was kind of like a trend in the South, is because that was where racism was known the most and segregation. So this was a really important part where people started to change. Alex, that's really cool. To get deeper in this conversation, what key roles led into equality? I think there were several key roles, but some of these included the Little Rock Nine was very important for schools to get out of that. I think Rosa Parks with her strike was really important as well. And Ruby Bridges was also another one, as we talked about. But I'd say the one that influenced most people, the spokesperson that deeply influenced everybody, was Martin Luther King. And just all these people, not only these ones, but also several other ones. For example, like John Aaron, he was someone who was fighting for what he believed in. And that was important to him. So that changed a lot of lives. And this just ended up making the world a better place. And it started desegregation, and it led into a greater society. That was a great interview. Now tell me to our hearts and see what we want to say about this case. Yeah, so from my perspective, I think this case certainly impacted people. I mean, I remember learning about this as a little kid and how it impacted so many schools. For a while, people had to go to different schools based off their ethnicity and race. And I just think that this was a very key turning point into the right direction on desegregation and being equal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just like being bold and being a part of yourself. Like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther, Ruby Bridges, and others I do not know about, but definitely other people, because this is what you have to do to make what you want to happen. You don't sit around and watch them get bullied.
I agree with that. I think if you want something in life, you got to go for it, and you got to stand up for what you believe in. And I think this was a perfect example, this court case, of John Aaron and the Black students standing up for what they believed in.
Thanks for listening to our awesome podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you guys learned something new.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK through 12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening, and stay tuned for more.